Oh yeah, this is gonna work out real nice. Got pretty much every option we could ask for right here. Alright, here we are back in Grand Theft Auto. We're gonna do a little bit of truck driving, and the stinking union guys never leave the keys in the truck, so I guess we're just gonna have to take that into our own hands. It's a simple job. Got one job, just leave the keys in the truck. As you can see from our intro there, we have a choice of pretty much any kind of trailer we could want to tow, with the exception of the log trailer, the lumber trailer, which is something you can only find up by the sawmill as far as I know. I've never found one anywhere else. I should have known better than to try to go ahead and turn around while that car was there, because the drivers in Los Santos are a bunch of psychopaths and they cannot wait for anything. Lucky that guy didn't get out and shoot and kill me. I'm going to get a real nice shot of the truck pulling away in the cinematic. It looks really good. I really like pulling the fuel tanker because it's a heavy trailer. It makes the truck work harder. It seems more realistic. You can't, do 80, 90 miles an hour while pulling a trailer when you're pulling this thing. It's real heavy. In fact, the snub nose. Oh, real quick, you can see where I'm at on the bottom right part of the map, southeast part of the map. And we're going to be heading to the power company up there. We're going to be hauling a load of fuel up to them because they have a lot of uses for it. They're burning through it, as you'll see when we get up there. But the snub nose truck, I can't remember what it's called, but the one with the flat nose that has no hood on it, that truck actually struggles to pull this trailer over 50 miles an hour. If you're going up a hill, it slows down to a crawl. It's really a lot weaker than these bigger rigs with the full sleeper on them and everything. So it's kind of cool that they have different performance qualities and towing ability and stuff between the different rigs. This spot here is really cool. It's like a big industrial area. It's a little bit of a tight squeeze when you're pulling a trailer trying to get out of these areas. As you can see, I'm just being real careful. Also, if you're pulling a box trailer, those stairs right there on that walkway will catch the top of the trailer. I'm not sure on the fuel trailer, but I had that experience once, so now I always stay in the left lane. But I think it actually totaled my truck and it had to glitch the game out. But yeah, here we are. We're on the open road doing a little bit of trucking. I'm going to try to follow the traffic laws the best that I can. There's going to be times whenever you can't make a red light because they seem to change pretty fast at times. Or if you're not paying attention, like I'm not right here, you will be in the wrong lane right up until the last second. So I'm kind of across two lanes, which in a big rig you're kind of having to take wide turns anyway, so it's not that terrible. I'm backing up a little bit here so I can actually see the light. I went a little too far. The truck driving in this is really good. Like, if you were determined, like, I'm just going to make a whole series out of nothing but truck driving in this game, which I am going to do quite a bit of it because I really enjoy it. But if you like Euro Truck and different things like that, and you're looking for something else, maybe something with a little more freedom, because Euro Truck, that's what it is. That's all you do. With this, there's chaos lurking around every corner. San Andreas is a very volatile place, so if you bump into the wrong car, you just never know what might happen. And if you're hauling a fuel tanker through the rough part of town like I'm doing right now, you have to be extremely cautious because it only takes a couple of stray shots to blow yourself completely out of the game. So you see here, I'm actually following the directions, which I don't suggest. If you're going to follow the navigation markers, follow it with the idea of staying on main roads. I did it here just to kind of get like the scenic route, but it actually slowed things down a lot. If you can keep on the main roads, the route will adjust. You can kind of stay with the freeways and the 4 and 6 lane roads. It makes things move a lot smoother. Granted, you don't get to see all the different things going on around you and maybe some of the cool changes in scenery that you do here, but you also don't have to deal with people in a hybrid going 25 miles an hour everywhere. So that's what we're dealing with right now. And it was pretty weird. This intersection right here, the light was actually out. I've never had seen that before. I don't know if that's supposed to be that way, like we're in such a rough part of town that the traffic lights don't work, or I don't know what's going on there. But one thing you'll also have happen a lot is right there. You'll have a car or truck or whoever, they will think that they need to pass the big rigs for some reason. The game is much better as it is on the Xbox One. It's still lacking a little bit as far as the game is not used to you doing things in a normal way, like driving in your lane. And as soon as I say that, I drive way out of my lane. But you know, you drive in your lane, stop at red lights, follow the traffic. The game kind of doesn't know how to react. On the 360, it was horrible. Like they would just freak out and crashes would happen. And the more you did it, it seemed like the more it would make the game mess up. But this way, on the Xbox One, is pretty smooth. I mean, you still see like that SUV there just went directly in front of that car from the left lane. So there's a lot of chaos just on the brink. You know, just one wrong move, bump into one car, and it could be a very serious incident. Because I mean, let's face it, this is Los Santos, and San Andreas as a whole is just it's not a safe place necessarily. But here we are, we're getting on the freeway, and I'm thinking like, okay, big time freeway, we got to get moving. So I go flying past those two hybrids thinking, you know, they're going to slow me down, only to realize, oh, I'm not actually getting on the main freeway. I'm taking this off-ramp immediately, and then taking another off-ramp immediately. I'm never really actually going to get on that main chunk of freeway that I thought I would be on. If I had not gone through the scenic route in town, I probably would have hit the big road. Like I hit a little bit of it here, but I think it's still only 4 lanes at this point, so it's not really the kind of 8 lanes of traffic at 80 miles an hour that I was expecting. Yeah, see, it's condensing back down to 2 lanes here. So if you're going to do this realistically and not, which I mean, if you're going to truck drive in Grand Theft Auto, why would you not try to do it realistically? I mean, everything else you do is chaos in this game, just about, unless you're like me. See this guy here squeezing over, trying to get himself killed and kill me in the process. But if you're going to do it, you see some pretty cool stuff, and you kind of see the game in a way where you're patiently able to enjoy things more than if you're like, I'm going here and just as fast as you can to get there across the map. But you see cool things happen, you see scenery, things that maybe you haven't noticed before. Plus it's cool. We're doing about 60, towing this big heavy trailer. You got to slow down ahead of time. If you get right up on somebody, if you don't leave enough of a gap, you can easily run them over. I tried extremely hard not to hit anyone or cause any accidents during the making of this video. There's a couple of times when I got really impatient. The one time was with those hybrids back there. I went around those guys on the outside pretty aggressively and tapped the wall. And then there's a spot right here coming up, I think, where, let's see, I think there's a spot where I pass a couple of vehicles on the right side. Yeah, right here. The police are behind me, and I'm thinking, oh no, a shootout. I'm hauling a gas tanker. If I stop and then they stop nearby and shoot this thing, I'm going to end up in a ball of fire. So I just kind of took off. Figured I'm just going to run away from it. Maybe they'll stop back there and duke it out. So right here I get really kind of, I guess cocky is the word, and I go around this big box truck, which that thing's really cool. It's the only box truck I've seen in this game that has 2 axles on the rear, which makes me want to drive one. I may have to make a video driving one of those around. And so we got away from those guys. The shootout was avoided, all that stuff. And then here we are back down to a very humble slow speed on this off-ramp. It's kind of a cool way that I took this time, just by accident. It's definitely not the route I would normally take, going through some of the little neighborhoods and back roads that I took in the city. I think it turned out kind of cool though, and you can see just how gorgeous the game is. On the Xbox One, the PS4 version is the same. They're both just really nice looking. And where we're heading, you can see those giant smokestacks up there. That is where we are heading. That's where our mission will end. I thought it was kind of funny later when I parked the truck at the end of the job, looking over at the giant smokestacks and all the pollution and everything. and directly across the road are the big wind turbines that are there to get rid of pollution and create power in a different, more environmentally friendly way. And just kind of seeing the two right across the street from each other. I'm sure Rockstar did that on purpose, the way that they do things, just kind of, you know, showing the pointlessness of people trying to look good. But you see the detail on the trailer. It's another reason I like this trailer. If you're pulling like a white box trailer or a blue box trailer, there's very little logos or maybe like one sign on the side. This one has, you know, a couple of signs because it's a flammable trailer, warning signs. Then it also has writing on the chassis that's underneath the tank, side of the trailer. It just has a lot of detail. It looks really, really cool. Pulling through here, it's really cool too versus older GTA games. This one, when you're doing stuff like this, as long as you're not like being a psychotic person and creating some big scene, people just kind of act like you're meant to be there. So if you want to role play like this and say, hey, I'm dropping this fuel off at this power station because they need a tanker. You can see all the tanks to the right there on the side. So it makes perfect sense. You're delivering a tanker here to a place that has tons of tanks they try to keep full. And then, you know, mission's complete. But the people aren't screaming and running, and as long as you're not doing anything crazy, they just go right along with it. I think that's really cool. It's something that kind of adds to the life of the game. You can see here is a real tight fit. I meant to talk about that on the way in with the trailer. It is not easy to get in there with certain trailers. You have a box trailer or something. But that's pretty much it. Just wanted to get a start on the trucking. Like I said, I have plans to do several more of these. I want to do a logging one, which is a little more difficult to get your hands on. But you know, we did it without any major damage to the truck. It still looks good. And you can see our delivery location there is the big power plant with the smokestacks and the wind turbines behind us like we were talking about. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this. Like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments what you thought, and I'll see you guys the next video. Thanks.